Hey guys, Steph Roberts here. And some of you know that I have a podcast mini course coming out, and it's about pitching podcasts. And one of the questions that I got from a very smart person the other day was asking, what do I need to have in place before I start pitching? This is an amazing question because honestly, this is the number one question that people don't ask themselves, because what we often do is say, wow, I'm going to get on a podcast. I'm going to get exposure. I have something that I can share with my audience. I'm going to get more whatever opt-ins or whatever the thing is that we think is going to happen. We're going to build our audience. And what I have seen is that, and this is true of guests who come on my podcasts as well. I have two podcasts. If you don't have certain things in place, yes, you're going to get on a podcast. Yes, you might build your list. Yes, you might build your traffic to your website, or maybe some people will opt in and visit your social media. But if you have an opt-in, meaning you have a way to actually drive people to your newsletter, your email, and you're going to give them a free gift, that's super powerful. And honestly, that's what we as podcasters want and need, because we want our audience to feel like we're giving them a quick win, whether it's in the form of a PDF cheat sheet, a template of some kind that can change their lives. Maybe it's an Excel spreadsheet for content creation and a calendar or something, or short video describing a process where they can get a quick win after that 15 or 20-minute video, or a short webinar, or it's a quiz, and the quiz allows you to go down a path where you answer a series of questions, and then at the end, I am XYZ, which means I know what I need to do next, because the steps included in the result tell you exactly what you need to do next. So those kinds of things are super valuable to us as podcast hosts. They're valuable to you as the guest, because then you're driving traffic to that free thing that you're offering, whether it's any of those things that I just mentioned. So in terms of what you want in place, you want one of those things in place, even if it takes you staying up all night or whatever because you forgot about it and you said yes to your friend's podcast or somebody who's in that group that you're in. You need to come up with something that relates to your talking points, the thing that you know you're going to discuss, the thing that you're trying to sell. So if I was going on a podcast talking about why it's great to be a guest on podcasts, I would probably want to make sure that the freebie that I'm offering is completely congruent and relevant to the topics that I'm speaking about. So I would want quick tips. Like this video maybe would be one of the things that I would use to give to somebody who's thinking about pitching themselves on podcasts, because there's really no point in pitching podcasts if you're trying to sell a service, you're trying to sell a product, you're trying to sell an e-product, you're trying to drive business. Those things can't happen very easily if you're not collecting something from the people who visit you. So the best way to do it is to offer something and get them on your email list, which is something that you own. Yes, you could grow your social or whatever, but you're not going to be able to interact with them the way that you would if you had that freebie in place. So it's super, super important. The other thing that I think is really important is when you're pitching, you typically already know who your audience is. And if you don't, you need to figure that out. Again, that'll be in the course. I highly recommend knowing exactly what your talking points are. So when you're pitching, you typically know in advance what are the main things you're going to have as conversation points around your expertise, the services, products that you're offering. And the third thing is, what do I want people to take away from this episode? Do I want them to say, oh, she knows a lot about marketing. She knows a lot about personal branding, or she knows a lot about graphic design or coaching or business development or productivity, whatever the thing is that you want to be known for, that obviously should be part of your talking points. So if you were somebody who's an expert in, I don't know, training your baby to sleep. So people have newborns and toddlers and they have sleep issues. If you're a sleep expert and maybe you wanted to go on podcasts for parents and mothers and families, and you want to talk about sleep training, and you want to have a freebie that relates to sleep training, well, you could talk about a quick win for someone who's considering sleep training, because a lot of us, when we think of sleep training, we think of letting a baby cry it out. And maybe that has nothing to do with real sleep training. I know a book that I got that was amazing for my second child. And what that one was all about was intervals of feeding and intervals of sleeping, and having your baby be tanked up with enough food so that they were able to sleep through the night and sleep much longer. And that was an amazing book. And my second child was like a complete contrast to her sister. And so maybe you would want to talk about what are the top 3 tips to start with sleep training. And hopefully that has nothing to do with standing at the doorway letting your baby cry it out, because I know a lot of us forget it. And my kids haven't been that little in a long time, but I do remember how painful that was. Give them a quick win. What are the fastest, quickest tips you can give so that when you're on a podcast and that podcast person is promoting you, your conversation after the fact, they're saying, here's the interview I had with Sandy, and she's talking about sleep training, and they're going to grab sound bites, they're going to send people to your freebie, and they're going to feel really good when they know that the thing you're offering is going to help these sleepless parents get back on track, regain their sanity, and have their baby start sleeping longer. Even if it's just an hour, 2 hours longer, it's awesome. So that's what I would say is, what is the quickest win? That doesn't mean you have to give away everything for free, right? You don't have to give away the farm. Just give them the top 3 things that you think they can get traction with super fast. And then make sure that even if you don't have a website, you have a landing page. So not everybody needs a website, but it is really handy when you're on a podcast. I would say go to stephanieroberts.com or audaciousmamas.com. And my kids are being really loud. Yeah, so make sure that you have a landing page that maybe, even if your landing page isn't your domain name, you can do a redirect. So you could say whatever your name is. So in this case, it would be sandysleeptraining.com, and that would go to a landing page for Sandy's offerings about sleep training and her freebie or her free training video or her top tips. And then you would opt into her email. Now you're in her email funnel. So she's going to drip out some content to you, and now she can reach out to you because you're on her list as somebody who downloaded that or saw that training, and she can target all these listeners and offer them her new course. She can lead them to a workshop she's offering, lead them to a sleep summit, lead them to her new book, whatever. So those are really important ways to think about how you leverage your podcast appearance. Those are my top tips. And if you don't have my How to Pitch a Podcast freebie, I will put that in the show notes below or in the info if you're watching this on YouTube. And you can download that. It's a very simple 3-page template with how to identify the podcast that you want to get on, how to just quickly get into their graces and have them see you as a really good potential guest for their podcast, and the strategies for things you should say to land in their inbox and stay there versus going into the trash bin, which often happens because we get really inappropriate pitches. Those are my top tips. And if you're interested in becoming a guest on podcasts and leveraging all the amazing ways you can get promoted for free and grow your authority online, build your SEO, your search engine optimization, so that when somebody types in your name with certain keywords, they're like, oh, she's the authority, or I need to work with her. So this is going to cast you in a really good light. Most podcasts, the interviews are anywhere from 15 minutes to 45 minutes, and you have the stage. The spotlight is on you. You're literally the expert, and the whole conversation is around you, what you do, what you have to offer. And even if it's a teeny tiny podcast, you're still reaching people you would never reach before. And typically people who are podcast enthusiasts, they listen all the way through a full episode. Even if they can't do it in one workout, one walk, one drive, they'll pick up where they left off. They'll listen at home while they're doing the dishes, whatever. and they will finish and they will hear where to go to find out more about you. Let's assume you're Sandy, the sleep person, right? So if you want them to follow you, you need to have all these things in place, and it can be really effective in building your business, but also long term, it's evergreen. Podcasters have social media, they have websites, their podcast in place on multiple different channels where the podcast is broadcast. So you're showing up in all these different places that get indexed. And so when somebody types in Sandy sleep training, whatever, it's going to come up as an episode on Google, possibly on YouTube, possibly on all these different podcast channels. It's amazing. And so that's what we want. That is a quick win, and it stays there for a really long time. I would say even for maybe even forever. It really depends on how long the person has the podcast up, their website, all those things. But in general, it's considered evergreen. So you really get so much bang for your buck, and they're promoting you. You literally just pitch, say yes, set up the date, and then you get interviewed and the person promotes you. That's very different than having your own podcast, having to edit the podcast, come up with the show notes, create the graphic, promote it to all the different social media. Like that work involved with that, that's a whole other episode, but that is a lot of work. This is the easiest way. Drop me some comments. Let me know, have you been on a podcast? Have you pitched podcasts? Has it been successful? What are some things that you learned that worked really well or maybe didn't work that you were surprised about? I would love to hear from you as I create the latest version of the course before I launch. Feel free to put something in the notes, and I would love to give you a discount too if I use your comments. So thanks for listening. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please do subscribe, please do share, and I will see you in the next episode.